Welcome everyone. I am Denise Fanning. I am our coordinator here in Park Library, and I am super excited to welcome you all here today to listen to our three collaborators talk about this beautiful exhibition. Thank you to CMU's Park Libraries for hosting this event as well. So when I first received the proposal for this exhibition, I was really excited by this proposal. It's a little bit non-traditional for what we typically host in the Baber Room, in that we don't typically show student work here, and we don't typically, we typically reserve this space for what is deemed as professional and career artists. But this proposal was so exciting to me because it was an interdisciplinary project and a collaborative project that involved multiple disciplines at the university and the coming together of things that others might sometimes perceive as seemingly disparate and disconnected, but really came together in this beautiful way. So we have right here Dr. Bingbing Lee, first in position, and then Dr. Soo Kyung An, and then Professor Julie Chun Zoa. And their proposal came to me fairly early on in my time here. This is my first year here at CMU. And I just really got lit up by the idea that we could bring together a chemist who looked through her microscope and was inspired by what she saw in that microscope to create an artistic experience, an installation, and a collaborative experience with fashion design and interior design to create this experience here for all of you here. And I think sometimes at the university we can find ourselves living in silos and in isolation, working in isolation, and the opportunity to bring all of this together in a way that shows us that a chemist can also be an artist, that chemistry and the sciences can and often do inspire artists and artwork, and that fashion design and interior design can be inspired by the experience of looking through a microscope. And the way that this all comes together, I think, is just a really beautiful opportunity for all of us to get to see how that collaboration unfolded, what the origination and the conceptualization of this project was, and how it all evolved. So I'm so excited to get to welcome these three here today, and I'm supposed to be talking in this. I think you can all hear me okay, but we are recording it, so for the benefit of the recording, we are going to use this microphone. I hope that's a little better now. Could you hear me before that? Okay. So I'm going to just introduce each of our three collaborators individually, and then I'll turn the floor over to them. First, we have Dr. Bingbing Lee. Bingbing Lee received her PhD degree in physical chemistry in 2007 from Virginia Tech. Upon graduation, she went to the Department of Polymer Science and Engineering at the University of Massachusetts Amherst as a postdoctoral research associate, and then to the Indiana University Center for Regenerative Biology and Medicine at Indianapolis, first as a postdoctoral fellow and later as a research assistant professor. In July 2009, she joined the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Central Michigan University. She was promoted to associate professor in 2015 and to full professor in 2020. Dr. Lee's research focuses on multi-scale events that govern the performance, degradation, and reliability of biodegradable polymer-based materials. Lee and her coworkers have published more than 50 research manuscripts with a total of 1,327 citations. She frequently served as a chair, co-chair, and organizer for international, national, regional, and local professional meetings, conferences, and symposiums, and as a panel proposal reviewer for National Science Foundation, American Chemical Society, Petroleum Research Fund, and Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, and India Science and Technology Partnership. She is on the editorial advisory board of Scientific Report and Materials Circular Economy. Welcome, Dr. Bingbing Lee. And next in line, we have Dr. Soo Kyung An. Dr. Soo Kyung-an is a full professor in fashion, interior design, and merchandising at Central Michigan University. She teaches several courses, including fashion illustration, flat pattern, draping, CAD for patterning, collection development, apparel product development, and advanced construction. Her research interests include functional and smart clothing for military personnel and police officers, sustainability, renewable fibers, and the application of computer-aided design software for product design, pattern making, and 3D prototyping. She has exhibited the several design pieces in the national and international design competitions. Her recent design exhibitions include As My Name and The Soundless Outcry in 2019 and 2020 International Textile and Apparel Association Conference. Welcome, Dr. Soo Kyung-an. And finally, Julie Chun-zoa, is an associate professor in the Department of Fashion, Interior Design, and Merchandising. She teaches different interior design courses ranging from design studios, lighting design, to the fundamental and advanced computer-aided design. She accompanies students to national and international competitions, winning lighting, design, and computer rendering competition awards. She brings in real design challenges to the classroom, such as signage design project for One North Study Room at CMU Library here. And she supports I&D and interior design undergraduate and fashion merchandising graduate students in studying signage in the educational and retail environments. She recently developed a new course to enhance computer-aided design in the interior design program. Professor Zoa's research focuses on visual attention studies to understand users' response to interior elements in the three-dimensional environment. The interdisciplinary partnership with Drs. Lee in chemistry and An in fashion merchandising is a new exploration on the combination of art, design, and science. She also collaborated with gerontology scholars on the study of indoor environmental quality for the health and well-being of occupants across all ages. And we have a nice big welcome for our three collaborators. Okay, Dr. Lee, would you like to begin?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Denise, for the introduction. And it's my pleasure to be here and talk about our exhibition today. And usually we put the acknowledgement after a talk, right? And but today I'm going to start my talk with acknowledgement. First, the person that I really like to acknowledge is my postdoc advisor, Dr. David Stockham. Dr. David Stockham, he was emeritus dean at Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis for the College of Science of Purdue. And he was the dean for 15 years there, and before that, he has long career at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And I really appreciate the opportunity that I was a postdoc there with him in his lab. And when you look at the beautiful patterns, beautiful design, the clothes, all the beautiful patterns were originally from animal study while I was a postdoc over there. And all the microscope image were collected by me, and the animal study and the surgery were done by me in the Purdue School of Science at Indianapolis, under the supervision of Dr. David Stockham. He is a great mentor, and he cannot be here, and he has a bad stroke last year. He's senior already, and he is a great influencer for me, for my career, for my education, and for a lot of a lot of things that I really appreciate. Without him, I cannot be here as a professor today. And I really want to say, even though he cannot be here, but I really want to say that in front of all of you, that I really want to see this exhibition is to honor him. And my thanks also goes to the CMU Office of Research and Graduate Study and the Department of Chemistry and my department chair, Dr. Mary Tanklenberg, the Department of Fashion and Interior Design, and Dr. Tanya Domina, and for the support they provided. Without their support, we are not able to have this exhibition. And my special thanks also go to my collaborator and my collaborator, Dr. Su Kwang An and Professor Julie Zuo, and many students who contribute to this project. One of them is there, that's Jasmine over there. And without their creativity and their hard work, we are not able to put these things together and present to you today. So that's my acknowledgement part. And then I like to see, I would like to introduce the motivation behind this exhibition a little bit. So our original motivation for this project is to improve the education equality and equity. So education equality and equity is one of the focus based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4. But the Goal 4 is focused on education. United Nations established 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And among that, many goals, Goal 4 especially focus on several areas of education. And the reason we initiate this project is that we would like to see collaboration among CMU professors with different expertise, with different perspectives. We work together to create display items that can be traveling not only in city but also to rural area in Michigan, so that we can place this type of exhibition in a public accessible places, such as public library, school library, local science school, children's museum, so on and so forth, so that all people, public and K-12 students and children from rural area have the opportunity to see the exhibition and learn the scientific information behind it. So that's our original motivation. So that's tied to the Sustainable Development Goal 4, education quality. So, and that's the original motivation. And so this is the very first exhibition. We are still working on more items for the future, and we look forward to have our traveling teams and move the display items to other places in the future. And this particular exhibition, the theme is based on the axolotl. So axolotl is a special type of animal. I mean, it's salamander. So some of you know that. So it's an aquatic salamander. They live only in water. So it's not like an amphibian. So it's only live in water. And this type of aquatic salamander, they can regenerate multiple body parts. They can regenerate limb, digits, and the spinal cord. They can regenerate many parts of their body. And when I was a postdoc under the supervision of Dr. David Stockham, our goal is to understand how the animal regenerate and how the understanding from the regeneration will help us to cure disease, for example, and regenerate, at least repair body part for human. So that's our research goal at that time. And at that time, we also use a comparative animal model, that's Xenopus. So Xenopus, we also, just frog, you know. So we use Xenopus as a comparison model. Xenopus can only regenerate in their baby stage. So the larva stage, xenopods, the small froglet, they can regenerate. I should say tadpole, because they can regenerate before the metamorphic stage only, and only small digits part. But when they grow into adulthood, they lost their regeneration capability. So we want to use the two animal model and compare them molecular-wise, see what's going on. So that's the research background, a little bit of background behind those images. And later, I'm going to invite you to go there, that corner. There are several images posted on the wall. Those are the microscope image for axolotl regeneration. And with different stage, we can see how axolotl regenerate their limbs. So in this exhibition, two types of technique we used. One is called hematoxylin erosin staining. Another one is trichrome staining. So hematoxylin erosin staining is hematoxylin stains the nucleic acid. Hematoxylin bonds to the positively charged chemical compound, and then it stains the negatively charged nucleic acid in the nucleus. So the color of the nucleus will look like a dark purple-ish in the image, and the erosin part will stain the protein non-specifically, so you can see different kind of pink shade. So that's where those lots of pink color come from. So that's one technique we use. Another technique we use is called the trichrome staining. So the trichrome staining stain mainly the cartilage, the bone, connective tissue, and the muscle. So in the trichrome staining, the bone and the cartilage look like blue, and the muscle blood cell look red. So later when you walk around, you will see some image you can see very bright, like a myofiber. Those are muscle cells, okay? So whenever you have questions, you can ask me later about the scientific part of those images. And so based on those microscope image, what we did is we used a small trick called tensillation. We put the image together using tensillation. Very simple version of the tensillation. So tensillation can be very tricky, as the mathematician did. And this one, most of our tensillation based on two operations, just rotation and inversion. So through rotation and inversion, we can design a lot of interesting patterns by using only one single image. And so that's about the pattern part. And for the fashion design and the furniture design, they were led by Professors Su Kong An and Professor Julie Zuo. So I will pass the microphone to Dr. Su. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Lee. And first of all, I want to say that, I really appreciate you invited me in this great, the collaboration project. After my high school year, I never, used the scientific terminology, but after having the first meeting with her, I learned so many, the science, the terminology, and try to understand, what the meaning is, all those things. And with those, the detailed information from the Dr. Lee, I brought those nice, the pattern to my student. One of my studio classes, studio classes, and that is the senior level of class. So most of the students in that class, they need to make at least the one garment by using this textile. So I provided those images to them, and they modify it and then print it in their own fabric. And then, they apply those textile images into the garment, as you can see in here. So at the end of the semester, all three of us picked the top 6 design, and that is in here, this room, today. And another part that I joined, that I collaborated in for this project is to create these accessories. You can see in here we have a tote bag, mask, laptop, the pencil case, and scarf design. I designed this, the product with my GA, Emily Dole, and then Leslie Whipley. And all three of us modify the textile a little bit, and then try to design this the accessory. So we want to show that, show everybody we can use this scientific image into our regular life, the product. So that is the part that I did for this project. If you guys have any question related to this product, I will be happy to answer your question after Julie's presentation. Your talk.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, and thank you again for coming and joining us. And when I first saw Dr. Lee's microscope images, I was really amazed by how beautiful they are. So thank you so much to Dr. Lee to invite me to do this project. And this is my first time and my students' first time actually to design furniture for exhibition. So last spring, 22 undergrad interior design students joined me in my class. Is a class focused on technology using different software programs. And we started with studying those cancellation images, understand the ethics behind it, and students worked in teams. Each team developed a set of furniture solution, so including seating furniture, tables, shelving, and accessories like lighting fixture. Additionally, students also use Dr. Lee's images, also make a modification, but develop textiles for their seating furniture. So at the end of the project, each team just 3D print their furniture as prototype. They also design posters and to conclude their complete idea. So we actually the concept behind the design again is the theme of our exhibition. That is regeneration. So tessellation, those beautiful patterns, were where students started with. So those modular furniture were using different geometries, students to tessellate them in 3D, in real space. And when they do the tessellations, so they are really challenged not only by making them beautiful, but also how to make them really functional. So we know the tessellation, those geometry, 3 types of geometries, the polygons are going to tessellate themselves. So triangle, square, and hexagon. So you will see those shapes most often in students' solutions. At the end of the project, we have 3 teams that read the top by our team. Additionally, we select one set of seating furniture. It's called a tessellation stool set to be manufactured. And it was designed by my student Jasmine Oldfield, and she's right here. Thank you for coming. So the 3D printed models are set right on that pedestal. When we work on the project, so we realize, science, math definitely can improve the aesthetic value, make a good proportion, make the color really beautiful from original tessellation images. But in the meantime, physics really matter. So one challenge, for instance, you will see one of these set of seating is very simple form. However, how we can make it bear the weight that needed for the function. So those are real-time, real-life challenges students need to resolve in addition to the aesthetic value. So for instance, for Jasmine's design, you will see there are 2 modules. She names those male and female, and the male has straight legs insert into the H-shaped female legs, so they can interlock on any side of the triangle and can extend whichever direction you want to do and how long you want to do, depending on what spaces those furniture are going to be fit in.
And additionally, her design also features use of different colorations for the finish. So on the computer right there, you can see one solution. There are 3 wood grain laminate selected with light, medium, darker tones and textures. And they can fit onto different parts of the furniture. So that means you, again, can generate a different combination and look very special, very different. Additionally, we consider how this can, really consider usable material and environmental sensitive. So when one stool broken, for instance, so instead of to replace the whole set, we can just refurbish or rebuild one of them and put together into the group. So we did facing a lot of challenges through the process, and right now we know the supply chain issues. Additionally, the labor shortage gave us a hard time to move forward to meet the deadline and meet our budget. So we made some revisions to the design. We developed, for instance, 2 warrants. We have a round connection for the seating furniture you see on the pedestal over there, but we also designed a square corner, make the legs meet the top so that we can save the budget. Additionally, we also explore different materials. For instance, Jasmine explored ideas of using the recycled plywood, plastic, right? Recycled plastic. And then we also have a warrant which is right now under rebuilding in a wood workshop in Shepherd. So we are going to using plywood and solid wood with laminate to realize the design solution. So if we have any questions, I'd be happy to help, but we have Jasmine right here to answer any questions you may raise for her. Thank you.
I can start off the glasses here. I can start off the questions.
Bing Bing, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more for us about the origination of like the spark of the idea that occurred when you decided to take your research into this realm.
Okay, I'll be happy to talk about that a little bit. So in 2017, 2016 we had a bad flood. Remember that year? And 2017, I had a chance because in the summer I had a chance to stay home to think about how we can gather the idea to do real STEM outreach so that we can really reach out to students farther away from city, like in the rural area. And I think this one got a little issue. So I was, that year actually I got a surgery and I had the chance that I cannot go anywhere. So I have to stay at home to think. So when I stay home and just focus on thinking, I start pulling out of lots of the research results where I got from my postdoc research. And I was really hoping to show this image to young children at that time. But I know that if you just show them 1 image, 2 images, it's really hard. So I started to play with my son. I said, this is what. At that time, he was only 7 years old. So I show him, and we play a little bit of card game kind of on the PowerPoint slides. And then when we put the image together, we make it larger and larger, I was really surprised what you can see. Just like this. When you look at this image, this is the fake blue color, and this is just from 1 single small piece. Everything just replicate. When you replicate them and you just do rotation and inversion, you can get a lot of interesting design just out of 1 image. But at that time, my son and I, myself, two of us, we just play, and that's just inspired me. I start doing more by myself, you know. And I had little extra time at that time because I have to stay at home. And I start work on this kind of microscope. The image you are seeing today were taken by using optical microscope. And myself, in my research, I use optical microscope, atomic force microscope, scanning electron microscope, transmission electron microscope, Brewster angle microscope. So we use all different type of microscope. So I start from this side, and I also work on some of those scanning electron microscope image. And I was just thinking, okay, when this pattern, when this image are piled together and get a larger dimension of the image, it's just stunning, you know. It surprised me first, and later I started to dig more about tensillation, the concept. I learned more about the tensillation concept after I was doing tensillation. So it's not like I learned tensillation first and then apply that to the image. It's just the opposite. So I work on this first and then dig more, and I learned that how people use tensillation to create art, create like two-dimensional art, and how mathematicians are obsessed about tensillation, because when you take this is simple because it's just a rectangular or square, but when mathematicians work on hexagonal or pentagon or other non-typical shape, so they need to apply their mathematical skill into the building of the pattern. So that's the origin. That's the long origin. Yeah, let's start from 2007. Yeah, 2017.
And that was how many years after the original research?
That's already, see, I joined the SAMU 2009, so that's already after 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, after 8 years of the original research. Yeah. So at that time, when I was postdoc, we published a few manuscripts, and I also collect a lot of microscope slides. I have like 8-10 boxes still sitting in my office at SAMU. The one box can hold like, I don't remember, it's 50 or 80 glass slides. I have lots of boxes in my office also, and I really just like them. You know, we have a microscope, we can take image too. Yeah. So it's just an event. It's kind of an unusual event where my son and myself, we were just looking. Actually, you know, as you can imagine, it's more like you're trying to work on something, your child try to just join you, and then we start to play a little bit, you know, and that's the very original spark, if you ask me, and then I start to think more. Yeah.
Beautiful. So your son gets acknowledgments too.
For everything. For everything, yeah.
Do we have other questions? I have more.
Yes.
I was wondering if you might also talk about a little bit about the process of choosing fabrics to print on, and what that was like for you, and how you came to the fabrics that you chose.
I see. Yes, you know, Dr. Su Kwong An, she purchased a sample swatch, a pack of sample swatch, we call swatch, I think. And then I borrowed that from her, and I look all the fabric. I was kind of, you know, there are tons of fabric with all different names, and I confused a little bit, and I decided to return the swatch to her, and I bought a set of sample swatch for myself again. The reason I do that is because I cannot decide that quick, because the quality and the thickness and the transparency all different. I bought exactly same swatch set as Dr. Su Kwong An, and so So what I can do is I can feel free to stretch and feel free to just test its strength. I don't want to break her swatch. So after I work on all sort of, carefully examine all different swatches, because the different fabric, when you print on the fabric, the color look different. Some of them are on the surface, kind of like on the surface of the fabric. Some of them can go deep, and some fabric, when you print on them, the color look brighter, and some fabric, when you print them, the pattern on them, they look a little bit like darker and grayish. So I did spend a good amount of time and finally choose the Leica. This is Leica, and this is called Paris chiffon. And the fabric over there, those are silk. So I choose this 3 type. And I also have a couple of them there. This is called not this one. This one. This is called muslin, I think. So is that right? Muslin. Yeah. So it's more like a synthetic fiber and the cotton fiber together. It's a kind of blend. Yeah. So I finally decided this few type of fabric. I like the transparency of this fabric, and this one I like the color because it's so bright. If you print this on those canvas, it won't be this bright. So that's how I decide the fabric, by working on the sweat. I don't sew stuff by myself, so I have to work hard to pick those fabric. Yeah. Any other question? For Sue and for Dr. Julie Zuo?
Oh, go ahead. Is it supposed to travel anywhere next?
Yes. We do plan to travel next. I already contacted the Midland Center for the Art, and their schedule is busy, but in the next summer, if they have room, they will allow us to jump in. So, I also contact the Traverse City, as the museum in the Traverse City. They are also happy to host our exhibition in the future based on, we have to wait in the schedule. Yeah. We also have the plan to contact some of the library, and we can also have a smaller scale exhibition in library, and we can go there to talk to people just like today, and especially we can invite K-12 students so on so far.
Yeah, I was wondering if you two would like to talk more about your design process, and maybe you think about some of the challenges and some of the, I guess, most creative and best parts about the process.
Well, I think we'll be okay without that. Mike.
Yeah, I think we might have lost our batteries.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
Hello?
I have.
Yeah, it's needed
Loud
for the
voice.
recording.
Oh, okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. Well, garment design process, after, I provide this textile motif to my student, I want them to choose, the one inspiration, their idea for their own garment. So for example, that purple, the gold dress right there, that she used Chinese dragon motif, that is her, the inspiration, the idea to create with this garment. So she applied, that kind of Chinese dragon, the image in the front of her garment right here, but the inside of that, she also applied this kind of motif into there. So if you guys look at that closely, you can see this, the motif into her gold part of the garment. So So I recommend them choose another, the inspiration, the picture or image or concept for developing their own garment. And they're gonna integrate it, this textile motif into their garment. That was our, the design process.
Can you speak a little bit to how they received this specific inspiration and or limitation within the design process?
Well, actually, Dr. Lee gave a lot of, the motif, like I think it's like over, 30, the slide, that you sent to us, right? So I provided that to them and asked them to pick any of one, or that you can mix two of the images, so it's not exactly the same motif that they apply in their, the garment. They modify it, and alter it, and they create their own textile motif based on this image.
My students, we typically start with sketches and look into inspiration of what design solution fit a specific type of interior space. And for this particular project, we actually started with studying Dr. Lee's primary patterns. I invite Dr. Lee to share literature review articles to understand the science behind it. And Dr. Lee also did a lecture on the ethics of the image. So one challenge I noticed students, when they create, they go with their own ideas, just free form, and it's hard to make them understand. You need to keep that enough information stay true to the scientific origin of the project. So that's the first challenge. I've been trying very hard to help students understand. And when it comes to the real design, it is a process. It's a test and run. Like first draft, second, and third is like a typical design process. But for the furniture, as I mentioned, it's the first time, myself actually to learn how this go together to make function. So I would like to use Jasmine's, and I will help you. So you can see that the details, how we try to make it stackable and flexible so you can transport and store them in safe space and easy to assemble and disassembly. So I mentioned earlier, this is a very simple form. We love it, but in reality, if you don't have any support underneath, you just sit on it, it's going to break because there's not enough physics working to hold the leg to bear the weight. So there got to be certain type of bracket underneath to reinforce. So for that question, that problem, we would spend a long time just to see what solution can really work perfect for this. And also depending on what materials, the size, the details, it changes. Like I use solid wood, plywood, or I use metal, all this will change a simple form, like how this is going to compose, together. And so I just make a few examples I observe my students and myself, and in the work process, whether we have been challenged, whether we have been work daily and work hard to get the solutions. And there are multiple solutions. Then we have a budget, right? We have a budget and timeline that we're going to consider as well. Now I'm going to turn to Jasmine, and she's going to share with you her experience and challenges.
Yeah, so basically we started with the images, microscopic images, and the entire concept. I don't know if this is working, but okay. The concept of regeneration, and really the stool design was, the idea was to have it as like the seating for the actual traveling exhibition. So it would need to be able to travel in like a trailer,
from place to place because it's a traveling exhibition. It would need to be easily able to be reconfigured for multiple purposes, for lounging, for like what you are all doing now, different purposes within the exhibition space for different types of use. And so that was one thing I wanted to make sure that it was really very reconfigurable, and also the stackability for transport was part of it as well. And really, one major struggle throughout the project was just making sure that these pieces that I had in my mind, like these different triangles that fit together, how does this functionally work in a way that everything does actually fit together in when you put it into a 3D actual form. So at first, like I had different curves and like tilts outward, and so then I just kind of realized, yeah, these two can fit maybe, but then you can't add more. So I had to redo the design a few times to get to the point where multiple could all fit together, and then also the stackability. So that was the main thing throughout the design. And then now with material selection, there is like the logistics of having like the correct support for it to be able to be used as a furniture piece so that someone can sit on it. And so that was the main thing. But yeah, that's it's just been cool. The concept was really inspiring. Just the whole idea of regeneration, rebirth, and tessellation. So I think that was a really good concept for all of the students to come up with designs for. So.
Jensen and me worked, outside classes so many times to develop different solutions and to thoroughly try to really manufacture this new challenge. We have a limited budget, which we can it's at least 3 times than our original budget. And so we had to change the form from, as I mentioned, a curved connection and then to squared, different materials, different finishes. So I contact at least 8 different builders or contractors, and two just, they have bigger projects now, and then decided to just drop off. So, and now, we're trying to really build this. Hopefully at next exhibition we'll have the real seating that is done by Jasmine to be in the space and can serve the visitors. So that's our objective.
So when Jasmine and Professor Julie Zuo talk about the furniture, I want to add one more thing, is that that's also when the student work on tessellation concept and incorporate the tessellation into furniture design, that's further inspired me. One thing is about when furniture were designed using the tessellation concept, each module can be repaired easily. So that's also tied to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. So, which I think is very good idea for them to even go further, because their tessellated furniture are just beautiful and functional and repairable and easily go with the circular economy concept. Yeah.
Just for clarity, I'll add that in the original proposal for this exhibition, the intention was for there to be an area of seating made with the stools that Jasmine designed.
Was it called solace seating?
Like a comfort, like a relaxation zone.
Yeah, like a relaxation zone to have kind of a circular format of the interlocking stools surrounded with the garments and the fabric panels. But they have run into significant contractor struggles that I think they have underplayed. That have really stymied their intentions. So there are a couple being built right now that hopefully will maybe even make their way here before the show closes. And if not, they will be in the next iteration of the exhibition as it travels. Do others have any questions for any of the collaborators? Yeah.
How were the slides chosen?
How are
microscopic slides chosen? Like, how did you decide, oh, I want them to work with this specific thing?
How they arranged.
How did you choose which microscopic slide was used for the inspiration?
You know, how do I answer you the question? I tried many, and I did select the one that I liked the most. You know, when I did try many different microscopes, microscope image, and I worked on many of those patterns. And for this exhibition, I did select the one that I like. So is that a good answer?
Any more questions? Okay.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much. I don't know if this is working anymore, but thank you so much. Let's give everybody a big applause for all their sharing and information. That was really great. Thank you so much for sharing this process of collaborating and working together for us. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and they'll be here if anybody wants to talk individually and ask further questions. Sure, privately.
We'll be around.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for giving us your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.